Alright, so, this is gonna be my second ever video. It's on the amazing Lucas, YouTuber, conservative. I'll put that for you to determine. So-called conservative. I've called him a few times. We talked about things, but it's never gotten to this point where I felt like I had to make a video on him, because I thought, you know, he was a pretty decent YouTuber. Like, a lot of people talk about him as being, oh, he changed, which, I mean, obviously before making this video, I didn't believe that he's changed in any way. I just think he has takes that differ from people, like everyone else can. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But in this call, we get into an argument because he made a video about Tucker Carlson, and I'm no Tucker Carlson fanboy or anything. I'm not a fanboy of anyone. But I disagreed with his take on Tucker Carlson because he made this video on a segment where Tucker was talking with this guy about immigration and making your vote count less, essentially, is what Tucker's point was. And I was trying to elucidate that to him. So I was calling because he tried to connect Tucker's segment to like some sort of theory of replacement about white people fearing that they will be replaced ethnically, which I thought was not the point of the segment. I thought the point was to point out that if a certain party argues that, hey, if I give open borders to the country and then say that anyone who votes for us will give you free stuff, I think that's kind of unfair, I guess, as this is coming from a mixed guy. This is what I try to talk to him. I'm not some random white guy who's afraid of being ethnically cleansed. I'm a mixed guy, mixed race couple created me. And I thought, you know, it's a fair point to point out that as a mixed guy, if a party promises all free stuff to a bunch of immigrants from Mexico, Asia, Europe, Eastern Europe, anything like that, and they say, hey, you'll get free stuff if you vote for us, that makes my vote count less as a natural born American citizen. And so that's kind of the background of my take. But I'm gonna have to pause periodically in this because Lucas gets a little heated at the very onset of the call when I'm just trying to explain my position. And so from there, we both kind of get heated. And he talks over me quite a lot. But here we go.
864, you're on the line. What's the disagreement?
So I disagree with your take on the Tucker Carlson video you just made.
Go for it. What do you disagree about it?
So this is coming from a mixed guy. My dad's white, my
I don't
mom's
give a
black.
fuck. What do you disagree about?
Alright, but
So that's when I obviously respond. I say, okay, calm down.
calm down.
Okay.
I disagree with the fact that
And this is where he tries to get funny for his viewers because he live streams these type of things. So this is already where he sets up his whole thing, like, I'm smarter than you. You hear that? This is my channel. I make the rules here. This type of thing.
You know what that sound is? That's an alarm. Don't ever fucking come and call me and then tell me to calm down unless you want a fucking giant foot up your ass.
So yeah, he's trying to be funny, whatever. I don't know. It's kind of weird where I'm just trying to make a point and he immediately just starts cussing and getting kind of heated. Anyway, let's keep going.
wow, big word.
And then you heard that? I was mid trying to respond, and he immediately mutes me. I guess because, you know, some people have some sort of a complex where they have to do that to maintain order or something, even though he's the one who started this very aggressive attitude to start out our call. But let's continue.
You're on the wrong fucking show, my dude. All right?
He's trying to flex his muscles for his subscribers, you know. Gotta sound cool.
Let's handle this like adults.
Meanwhile, I'm muted. He also, I think, muted himself. He's just talking to his stream because I can't hear him either, which is pretty funny. So I'm just gonna speed up past this, obviously.
I don't care about anything about what I care about is your disagreement, okay? You could literally be on fire right now, and I would not give a fuck.
And I unpaused there because I thought he would be done with this whole thing, but no, I'm still muted.
As to why you disagree about my take with Tucker Carlson.
And then he starts getting to some weird territory where he starts talking about my dad, and I don't know, it's just weird, but we can keep going from here.
Fox
Very funny.
For your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Go.
All right, buddy.
All right, go for
All
it.
right. I don't think it's a racial issue. I think. It's
Oh,
a racial
obviously. So I come back, obviously, a little also still heated. Because one, I didn't know I was muted at the time. And I couldn't hear him, really. And he obviously starts to talk over me, so.
My vote counting less, because if there's a party saying I'm gonna let if it's a party of open borders, which is the Democratic Party, and a party of I want to give free health care. Do you not remember last year when they talked about how every single one Democratic nominee wanted to give free health care, open borders to anyone across the world? I see that as an issue. As me as an American, that
Why
my
are they
vote counts
voting?
less.
Why are they voting left?
Here, I mishear him. He says, why are they voting left? And I don't understand his what he's saying that. I don't understand why he's saying that. Because in my mind, I said they're voting, my vote counts less. And so I thought he was asking me to repeat, vote less, as you'll hear me say. It counts less, meaning my vote.
They count less.
What do you mean they count left?
And so he still thinks I'm saying left. This is just a misunderstanding between what we're saying. I guess we can't hear each other clearly.
Because if anyone can come into this country and vote and get free health care, all these things, they're going to vote for the party that gives them that thing.
Why? Why are they? Why?
Now I really don't understand the question. I think that's a pretty easy, logical chain to link. If somebody's promising you something for free, if you vote for them, then you will vote for that person if you want that thing. And I mean, if everyone wants free healthcare, I mean, who wouldn't want free healthcare given that if it would be great healthcare? That's just true. If the healthcare can be free and good, no one would oppose that. And that's my point. I don't understand why he's saying why. That's very easy to understand. Earlier in this live stream, he's actually talking about people playing the stupid card, and I think that's exactly what he's doing here. I guess he's just avoiding the obvious answer and just trying to annoy me, but we'll keep going.
Because it's free stuff. What do you mean, why?
What do you mean they? Okay, let's see if we can unpack this. Okay, so you believe that people are coming over here voting left for free healthcare, something that we till this day don't even have, right?
And again, I never nice reframe. I never said that. Obviously, I never said that. People, I mean, I don't know what he's saying. He's trying to malign my ideas here. Obviously, he's trying to make me look stupid in front of his awesome 1K viewer thing. But I don't care about that. Obviously, I'm trying to make a point to him, and he's avoiding it. But we'll keep going.
They even take it to a vote. So Democrats themselves have already shown that they don't want Medicare for all, right? Which is why you're having an upset group of people. on
I
the left
disagree with
who are
that.
calling them
I
out.
don't. I think they're not going for it because they can't.
What do you mean that? Okay.
And so there, I'm talking about the fact that they can't because they have a very, very slight majority in the Senate right now. They have, I believe, 51, if you count Kamala, I believe. And so it's not really a majority because Joe Manchin has said many a time, for anything that's too radical, he's not going to support it. I think he's West Virginia or Virginia, one of the two. He's not going to support these radical things. So they can't right now. They physically can't. They don't have the numbers. Things like massive gun control legislation, open borders, free healthcare for all, just all those few things. They cannot do that because Joe Manchin exists. And I guess he doesn't realize that. And he doesn't give me the option to explain that either. As you can see in a moment, he says, oh, okay, so what? And then he just kind of goes past it. And we can't come back because, like I said, he talks over me a lot. And, yeah, he just kind of sticks to cussing, and that's all he can do, so.
So, all right. So what's the reason for people here voting left?
Well, I mean, I think there's one thing. People are misled. Like, you're one of your catchphrases is you don't believe men, you don't believe women, you believe facts and evidence. Well, a lot of people don't have that.
What I mean by people don't have that is because they don't have that philosophy. They don't believe facts and evidence, or they don't wait for facts and evidence to come by. They just go with what maybe the media is telling them, which, I mean, media has bias. It's clear. It's true. Fox is biased towards the right. CNN, MSNBC, biased to the left. That's a fair point. That is a true point. So I'm not sure what his contention is here.
Just, you know,
So
both
what's the
sides
reason
are
for people
misled.
here voting left? Do you believe that people are coming over here for free stuff, right?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons. Or if you were to vote Democrat and they're
Well,
saying
voting
free health care
Democrat
for all.
free stuff.
I didn't mean to go back.
Everyone in the
Yeah.
country vote Democrat.
I meant to pause. Either way, let me go back a little bit because I forgot what I was going to pause for.
Democrat and they're
Well,
saying
voting
free health care
Democrat
for all.
free stuff.
Oh yeah, he's just. I was going to point out how he continually talks over me when I'm trying to make a point.
So why doesn't everyone in the
Yeah.
country vote Democrat then?
Well, I think some people realize that that's not feasible.
That being things like free healthcare or completely open borders.
Because that's not how that
Or
works.
don't think
right?
that's feasible.
That's not how that works.
And I don't know why he's saying that's not how that works. I'm not. This is why I was confused mid-conversation, but I put some thought into it. He may have been agreeing with me here when I said people don't vote for Democrats' agendas like that, Democrat agendas like that of open borders or free healthcare for all. I was saying because people realize that's not feasible. And after I said that, he had said that's not how that works. So when we were having this conversation, I think we didn't realize we were kind of agreeing here. Like he was saying that's not how that works. I think. I'm not sure. We didn't get to hash this out. Obviously, you'll see at the end of the video. I think he may have meant people realize that's not how that works. Free healthcare, that's not how that works.
That is exactly how that works. If you don't,
Majority of immigrants, right, or especially from Hispanic origin, whatever, they're very conservative.
well, on social issues, yes.
And note how I typically give him time to speak and make his point, but whenever I try to make a point, he talks over it very, very, very much.
That's correct, right?
Yeah, social issues.
So, do
But
you think that
fiscally-
if Republicans created a message that resonated with those individuals, that maybe they would vote differently?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's just Hispanics though. This is literally any immigration group, and
So
that's what I'm saying. It's not a
Asians are
race
voting
issue.
for free stuff as well.
I don't know. I don't have the data, but I mean, it's not like there's a large.
I don't have the data on what Asian immigrants are voting for. I don't think that's something you can easily Google and find out. That's what I mean. I don't have the data. I don't have the data to determine how often Chinese immigrants, Japanese immigrants, Vietnamese immigrants are voting for free stuff. I don't understand how he is supposed to. He expects me to answer that. I think it's just another point where he makes where he's like, I don't have anything actually about the logistics of his argument. I'm just going to try and nitpick a certain point and make him look dumb.
It's not like there's a large influx of Asian immigrants anyway.
Well, that's where I believe.
And I think I was trying to make the point that even if that's the case, that Asian immigrants are voting for or aren't voting for that. They don't make up the large portion of immigrants anyway. So he's kind of like taking an argument from a percent of a percent standpoint and trying to attribute that to the whole, which I think is disingenuous.
Last was Pew Research, a good majority.
In here he just says Pew Research to again sound smart because he never provides any link or source or anything. He just says Pew Research to sound smart. He doesn't cite a source, any study, any person that I could even look up, any person related with that study or research. He just says Pew Research. Doesn't even say like a title of the research. How am I supposed to look that up?
Actually, was actually from Asian areas. Most of them are actually due from overseas visas.
Again, the
So-
vast
so
majority of
if it's
immigrants
from-
aren't Asian.
And then he tries again, nice freeze frame. He says something and I'm trying to respond and he just talks over it again every single time.
The vast majority of immigration, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is actually from overseas visas. People who come over here to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people, if they're coming over here to work, is that strange why they would vote for free stuff?
And even then, this point doesn't really make any sense. We're talking about people who are trying to become citizens. If they're here on a visa just simply trying to work, they're clearly not trying to become citizens. They're here to work. So his point collapses on itself. He has no point here.
Well, again, that would change, obviously, if they're changing the goalposts for how to become a citizen.
What does it matter if they become a citizen or not?
No, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about if this country becomes open borders, if we offer free healthcare. That is what people will vote for.
No one's for open borders.
Yep, bro. Last year, they all voted for that. They all raised their hand when that question was asked. Last year, Democrats.
And here he's playing the stupid card again, because I already talked about this earlier. I'm talking about, again, the Democratic debate where the question was, it was either about free healthcare for all, including illegal immigrants, or it was just talking about open borders. Either way, they lend to the same conclusion, free healthcare for the immigrants. And so if the Democrats are promising this, all the major players who are last year on this previous election were saying, yeah, I'm for open borders, I'm for free healthcare for all, even illegal immigrants, then any immigrant will vote, legal, illegal, however, they will vote for that because it's just free. There's no downside to them doing it. And again, he's playing the stupid card.
The Democratic debate.
I'm asking you today, who is for open borders?
And I answered. I've said it multiple times now. Who was open for it? Every single one of those major Democratic players who raised their hand and said, we are the party of open borders, the party of free healthcare for all.
Has Biden come out and said he's for open borders? Has anyone
When he raised his hand, yes.
come out and said, yeah, we're for
I
open
just
borders?
told you, every single Democratic National Convention.
And here I'm obviously annoyed because he's dodging it. He's not acknowledging the fact.
Nominee.
My guy,
When
listen
asked
to
that
me,
question,
listen to me. I know they say a lot of stuff, right? They raise their hands, they gesture, they pander.
And here he kind of, I don't understand his point in saying this. There's nothing wrong with keeping people accountable for something. He seems to take issue with the fact that I'm trying to keep somebody accountable what they said and what they agreed with, which is the stupidest position I've ever heard. If somebody raises their hand and agrees with something that is asked them on the national stage, this isn't something like, oh, I couldn't consider this. This is them saying, yes, I am for this. Multiple times. And I've told him this multiple times. Keeping people accountable for what they agreed to or what they said that they would do, that's not on me. That's not me being a bad argumenter. and the fact that he has a problem with this, it just, I don't know. He's just lost, I guess. I don't know.
They say a lot of stuff, right? They said $2,000 stimulus checks, right?
Which happened.
They said Medicare for all, right? They say a lot of stuff, my dude, okay? One thing that Democrats are realizing is that, politicians lie. They will lie in order to get into positions of power. Okay, so I'm asking you, what policy has been enacted where they have said, hey, let's eradicate all the borders?
It's not necessarily if it's been enacted or if it will be in the future.
So my point here is, he seems to make this assumption that I think Biden's just going to make a bill or an executive order, a bill to be introduced to Congress or some executive order in one motion that's going to eradicate the border at the south or the north or Atlantic Pacific. He thinks that, for some reason, I believe that he's just going to make it in one bill, which is stupid to think. That's never done in American politics. Maybe these omnibills with COVID, but that's like a special case. But no, I obviously don't believe that in one bill the border will just be eradicated. That's stupid.
Okay, so you believe in the future they're just going to eradicate the borders. Biden, who's very much
I'm not
a
saying
moderate Republican.
in one sweeping bill, but eventually it's very much possible that the
Okay, so
borders.
eventually, like, they're going to take away your guns. That sounds
And then again, he's putting words in my mouth because this isn't even a debate about guns. He's just, again, trying to make me look stupid in front of his awesome subscriber base. He's just trying to sound funny, sound smart, when he's really just dodging the answer to my questions,
fear-mongering, my dude.
which is not fear-mongering, as I will get into right now.
No, it's not. Look at the EU. What are you talking about? Look at the EU. There's literal
What's
open
going to
borders.
happen eventually, right?
Let me go back because my computer made a stupid sound.
No, it's not. Look at the EU. What are you talking about? Look at the EU. There's literal open borders.
So here I'm telling him to look at the EU because they have open borders between their countries. Like, I don't understand what's hard to understand about that, because he said he starts talking over me. He's probably not listening at this point. Probably, I don't know. Either way, I say look at the EU, because they have had open borders and they continue to have open borders. It's not like it's hard to believe that we, America, would follow in some practices the EU, because we have done that in the past. Like, the EU is further left than America's left. But that's not to say that the American left isn't going that direction, because they are. And so, given that they are, I actually have I don't know if I have it saved somewhere. That's my university email. Either way, I was going to pull up a graph, but there's a graph I can pull up maybe at the end of this video about how after Obama, I believe, or during the Obama administration, the American left started to go way more towards the left to be comparable to the European left, which is obvious that they're going that direction. So it's very easy to see the abolition of the border based on, one, what they said this past election cycle during those debates, holding people accountable, remember, something he doesn't seem to understand, as well as the fact that the left is going for the left.
Eventually, right?
Yes, based on what has happened. That's not fear-mongering, that's looking at a real-world example.
And then again, he says, based on what has happened, I just told you, the EU. That is the example I am speaking of. I've said it multiple times, and he's ignoring it. And I call him out eventually.
It's a real-world example. Look at the EU, I'm just telling you.
Based on what has happened, what leads you to believe they're just going to eradicate the borders?
I just told you it wouldn't be
Because they
one
raised their
bill.
fucking hand, you fucking moron!
Again, he's ignoring the fact that I'm telling him to look at the EU, and just starts yelling. Because I guess, again, he's lost. He really has no idea what he's saying at this point.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You're putting words on that. I just told you to look at a real-world example in the EU, and you're not looking at it. You're dodging it completely because you know it's actual.
One thing you kept talking about is, oh, they raised their hands,
And here he's bringing up this one point that I made. Again, holding people accountable. Because he doesn't want to address what I told him about the EU. The fact that open borders already exists in a somewhat mirror to what our country is, the EU. So it's the closest thing in Europe that we'll have, like, to America, because, like, every country is somewhat like a state, and the EU is like the coalition of those states, right? It's like a sister to us. And given that the left, our American left, has gone so far to the left that they're comparable to the European left, and the European left, or the EU is comparable in itself to the United States, it's not a very hard leap. It's not a leap at all to make the connection that the American left, which is now comparable to the European left, will try to enact something similar where America has open borders as well. This is not a hard thing to understand. He's purposefully maligning my views and trying to make me sound stupid because of a point I made about holding the Democratic candidates accountable for what they said just like last year.
give a fuck if they raise their hand.
And so he's making a big deal about this again to his subscribers.
Seem like that makes me think that they're going to do it in one fell swoop. I don't think that's the case. I think that eventually it will occur.
I understand. What is causing you to have a panic attack?
And then again, he realizes he's dug himself into a hole, and tries to make me sound like I'm the one who started this conversation out aggressive by cussing and making very weird small talk about my family members for some reason. Because, again, he's always got to be funny and cool in front of his subscribers.
About the Democrats who are going to
not
open up
panicking.
that's what you're having. Open up the borders, right? Completely eradicate the borders.
I'm being aggressive because you started out this call being
By
aggressive.
all means.
And then I tell him exactly what's going on, and he continues to talk over me.
You said about the EU. What about the EU? Let me look it up. I'm more than curious. I want to be just as
I'm just
fearful
telling you
as
to look at a real-world example
No,
of a
don't
bunch
give
of
me a
countries.
fucking real-world example. I want something that's directly correlated with the Democrats.
Which I told him the Democrats are becoming or are comparable again to the European left. And I tell them that, and he doesn't like that.
Is that what you're going to give me?
Well, the Democrats are going further left.
Shut the fuck up. You're
Yeah, so he has no response to that. He can't address any of my points. he can just cry the entire time in trying to malign me and my views without addressing them in any way.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
And then he cuts me off because he starts cussing, and I just trying again to get him to calm down, but obviously he's not having that.
I want to give you a real world example. What the fuck does a real world example have to do with what's going on over here in the U.S.?
Again, the U.S. and the EU are comparable. Politics, world politics, isn't all that different, at least in terms of comparatively the U.S. to the EU. I mean, obviously the political systems, that the way that voting occurs, the way that like I know Britain, for example, you can make a government without a majority. It's like you can put together coalition government and stuff like that. Yes, they're different in those ways, the systems that they have, but they are very similar in other ways. Which again, that's what the comparison. The EU is similar to the US. The American left is comparable to the European left. What is hard to understand about that?
Right? What the fuck are you talking about? This is the same stupid shit the left talks about. Well, do you know they have multiple sexes over there in some bumfuck world in India or some shit?
That's my point. The left is like the European left. They will try and compare America to those other countries and argue that because they have this, we should have this as well. Again, I'm not seeing what's so hard to understand about this. I don't think there's anything hard to understand about this. I think he's just trying to be funny because he doesn't know what he's talking about, and so he just has to sound funny on his live stream. That's about it.
Do you know that they even identify the dog as a human? As a he and she? We should use their pronouns? What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, like, what are you talking about?
So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop it because Lucas is obviously a little heated here. So we'll let him take his nap. Either way, I'd appreciate it if you enjoyed this video to like it, subscribe. I'll be making more videos hopefully. I bet I'm blocked on his number now because he likes to do that whenever anyone has a good point. He blocks crazy people too, but like it's hilarious when he, like I talked about his catchphrase of believing facts and evidence. He obviously doesn't tend to believe in logic because yeah, he just gets a little too heated for that. Either way, like I said, spread the video around, like and subscribe. So yeah, thanks.